Hello, hello, beloved friends and tribe and family, fellow human. These are exciting and tough times, and I'm coming on here tonight in the early morning here to talk with you about some really deep heart things. It is 5:14 a.m. here, and I've been awake for hours, pondering and thinking and praying and listening. And I want you all to know this is coming from my heart. Hey, I see people are beginning to find me and join me. Pardon me. I'm going to try and turn off notifications. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'll be frank with you. My heart is really moved. I have been reading the comments of people that are in the threads on our Schumann page. And wow. And I said, I've got to talk plain. You know, I'm trying not to offend people. I'm trying not to say anything that would be divisive at all. I want to be incredibly kind, but I also need to talk very seriously because of the things that are happening in people's lives and their hearts. And I also try to be very positive, but sometimes you need to speak very plainly because you all are going through these things. AJ, I see you. Crazy symptoms tonight, AJ is saying. I have seen what you all have been writing in the comments. I myself am not having so much physical symptoms, and I'm very grateful for that. I once again, please, I'm not trying to make money and sell things to you for my own benefit, not with your own. If you have any of these devices, this stuff, use it now. If you have orgonite, which I don't even sell at this point, use it tonight. If you have shungite or any kind of earthing equipment or whatever, use it tonight during these times when people seem to be having such a very difficult time. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, and I'm going to try and speed myself up. When I get like this and I'm feeling really deeply, I tend to speak slower, but I need to speed up because I want to impart some things to you. I want to speak things to you. I want to share things with you. I want to put tools in your belt, so to speak, that you can take hold of and move through all that is going on right now. The challenges, they are spiritual, they are mental, they are emotional, they are energetic, they are psyops. There are so many things going on right now. And yes, we are on the very brink of the new earth. We are on the very threshold of a new, beautiful, upgraded world, free from all the insanity that has gripped the earth and the inhabitants for thousands of years because of an enemy. Let's don't go there. I don't need to go there. You all already know about all that. Whatever name you give it. It's time for us to be free. It's time for us to be free. That is what's happening. Hear me from your heart. I'm not going to talk just esoteric stuff. I'm going to talk very practical stuff too. But let's lay the foundation quickly. Open up your heart. Like my mentor, my beloved old mentor who's gone over now, Brother Littlefield used to say to me, Dia, he was from Maine, he said, Dia, there is a little door in your heart. Open it, and listen and hear me from your heart. So I say to you all, hear me from your heart. There are things we can do. There are ways we can rise above. There are ways we can use these energies to lift us, not crush us. There is truth to many things that may seem ambivalent or contrary. At this time, you may need to do some surrendering, some yielding, some relaxing your own efforts to be able to get into the flow of power that is higher than your own. Are you hearing me? If we stay in a place of fight and flight, if we're in a place of fear and anxiety and self-preservation, we're inside the box. We can't see outside it. So there's a place where the mightiest warriors and the most powerful people, the most incredible forces in human flesh in the world, are people who have broken free from their own fears. What is the greatest fear? It's the fear of death. Well, like a little priest from Africa said to me one day, what are you afraid of, Marguerite? What are you afraid of? What is it that is paralyzing you? It wasn't death at that point in my life. It was the fear that I was going to fail, that my own weaknesses of my own flesh and my character, I was younger, was going to cause me to fail and fall off of my trip and journey and pathway. And he said, what's the worst thing that can happen? And he encouraged me to answer, and I did. And he said, and if you failed, what then? Would you die? And I said, I don't know. I would, this was in my terms back then. I said, I am afraid I would hurt God. I'm afraid I would hurt this one who has loved me so much. I was so afraid of messing up and hurting the source of my life and my joy. And he looked at me, this young priest from Africa, Father John Appiah. He said to me, God is big enough to handle your weakness and failings, but are you? And there's a place where we have to surrender, beloved. There's a place where we have to face our fears and say, so what if that happens? What if it happens? What if our greatest fear comes to pass? Then ask yourself, can you really stop it? You know, during the wars in the past and battles of antiquity, the Celtic people were known to be some of the most fierce warriors in battle. Why? Not because they painted themselves with blue woad or paint, not because they fought naked. It was because they were fearless. Similar to the Vikings, they believed if they died in battle, they would immediately go to their version of heaven. Therefore, they had no fear. And in that place of no fear, we have superpowers. Well, We need to get past fear of death, of failure, of suffering, of whatever. Because in that fear, we have been captured. When I read the comments and I saw how people are suffering and how they're afraid, how they are worried and concerned for their minds, for their emotions, for their children, their families. There are people in our tribe who are homeless right now, living in cars with their children. There are people with real needs in our group right now, in all of these areas I've mentioned and more. Now, my question to us is, how can we make a difference? How can we turn away from our own focus on ourselves? How can we have an impact here? Now, another thing, my old mentor, this man was incredible. He was love walking on the earth, and I'm not kidding. He was walking love, and he loved people with everything he had. He loved them with any money that came into his hand. He loved them by bringing food to their homes, by feeding them, by helping them, by finding them a place to stay when their house burned down, getting clothing for them and their children. There was nothing too small or big for Brother Littlefield. It was just all about love. That is where we make a difference. He used to tell me, Marguerite, and he was from Maine, and I may try to imitate his accent a little. He had a deep, mellow, rumbling, beautiful voice, bright blue eyes, and they were so clean and clear with love. He used to say to me, Marguerite, when I'm feeling down, when I feel depression nipping at my heels, when sorrow threatens to drown me, because he had lived a long life. He had seen a lot of things as a minister who really cared for people. They called him the shepherd of an entire city. He cared for everyone that came within his reach. But he said, when I'm feeling so down, Marguerite, and I think I might drown in my own sorrows, he said, I find somebody who is worse off than me. He said, I find somebody who needs my help, who needs help. And if I don't have what it takes to help them, I will find someone. And I will bring those two together. I will find someone who has the thing that that person needs. And he said, how will I find it? He said, because I know God will take me where I need to go. God, let's please talk simply. I can't deal with all the semantics tonight, all the terminology. So when I say God, I want you to put in whatever word works for you. Put in universe, put in divine spirit, put in love, put in Father, Heavenly Mother, Heavenly Parent, divine source, prime creator. All of these things, we're talking about God in the simplest term. And he said, I know that God will bring me whoever I need to help that person. That was the way he lived. And he was a supernatural man. And we can be supernatural too. You can be supernatural. You can have that kind of an impact in this world. And he used to say, when I find someone who needs something and I reach out to help them, I find that I don't feel so bad anymore. I find that my heart feels better. I find that my soul is better now, that I've risen up above all of that. Because when we look into ourselves too much, when we do too much navel gazing, we can get deeper and deeper into a hole, a morass of quicksand that it's hard to get out of. And I know about that. I want to talk to you tonight about what we can afford and what we cannot afford to make place for in our lives. I'm an artist. I'm a professional artist. I'm an artist at heart. I have been an artist since I was born. I am different. I am strange. I am peculiar. My mother used to roll her eyes when I did something that she thought was odd or others didn't. She'd say, nah, she's an artist. Like, that explains everything. But with being an artist comes being moody a lot of times, and being a deep thinker, and being very soulish, and it's filled with emotion and soul stuff and desires of all kinds, which had me like in a whirlpool. I fought against it my whole life. But the most dangerous one, I think, was melancholy or depression. And it used to grab me. And I gave place to it. I didn't know any better. I want y'all to listen to me. Listen from your heart, okay? We cannot afford depression right now. We cannot afford to get caught up in our own drama. Can't afford it. What do I mean by that? I mean, during these days, it will consume you and pull you under. We can't afford it. We need to be helping others right now. And in helping others, we ourselves will find what we need. And I'm very serious. Give, and it shall be given to you. Pressed down and shaken together and running over. Will God put in your heart when you give to others? It is a principle. It is a truth. It's the law of use. It's the law of multiplication. If you need help, then give the little bit of help. Whatever you have in you, give it. If all you have is a moment of your time to listen to someone, or to reach out and physically touch someone, or to give something. Maybe you have a lot of material wealth. Then give it and help. Do whatever you can to use what you have to help others. Maybe you just have a lot of heart. Then take your heart to the degree that you can afford right now and reach out and love people. You know, there are different love languages. Find that person's love language. Before my dear brother Littlefield crossed over into eternity, I knew he was leaving. He was not sick. He was an old man, but he was not sick. But I knew he was leaving. I had seen a star fall out of heaven right in front of me on a country road. It lit everything up, and chills went through me. And deep in my heart, I heard someone great is getting ready to leave this earth, and I realized who it was. I knew in my heart he was getting ready to leave. And during that last evening I spent at his and his wife's home, in their living room talking with him, he turned to me at a certain point and he said, we never talked about him dying. We were like one person. I heard his thoughts. He heard mine. It was uncanny. It was a true mentor-mentee. It was a true guru and student relationship. He was someone I know I've known somehow forever. I recognized him when I saw him the first time. He turned to me and he said, it's good to know, Marguerite, that when I'm gone, which we never talked about that because we couldn't stand it. But he said, when I'm gone, I know there will be someone to carry on the work. He was a great lover of humanity. He was so filled with love, divine love, unconditional love. I've never met anyone like him in my entire life. I was so honored to know him. I was so honored that he called me his best friend. I was 27 up to about 32 years old. And when I first met him, he was 79. A great, great man, so beautifully loved by so many all around the world. And I was so honored. I treasured every moment I had with him. I treasured every moment, and I'm not exaggerating. It was an extraordinary thing. And when he was getting ready to leave, he said, I'm glad to know there will be someone to carry on when I'm gone. And he looked at me with those beautiful, loving, soulful eyes. And I thought, oh God, here we go. There had been people, spiritual people from around the world who had come from Africa and Europe and looked me in the eyes and said, his mantle is yours, you know, if you will take it. If you will accept it. What is a mantle? It's like someone's life work. It's who they have become through all their life, their struggle, their training, their experiences. It's like if the whole world was the highest thing you could do would be to be a seamstress or a tailor that sewed clothes. And your whole life, you spent your whole life collecting sewing tools, the best pair of scissors, the best needles, the best thread, etc., etc. And you had this beautiful sewing kit that was your life's treasure that you used to do this very meaningful thing in your life. If you took your sewing kit and you gave it to someone, your entire life's work, you collected all your experiences, your training, all of your love into this one thing, that would be a mantle, what is called a mantle in many spiritual traditions. Well, he passed his mantle to me. And I try not to cry. He turned to me after he said, it's good to know there'll be someone to carry on after I'm gone. And I'll go past this and I'll give you some really practical tools, okay? But I want you to realize that what's in me, it's on my face right now. The Lord told me this. There are messages on my face, in my eyes, in my voice. Codes, C-O-D-E-S. And this amazing one who is all love, God, Creator, Source, Spirit. He told me I could talk about the weather. It doesn't matter, but you will see the codes. You will pick them up in a way you will not even realize. You will feel uncanny peace and love and comfort sometimes listening when I'm talking and stuff. And it's not me. I don't have all of that. He said, I will be talking to my people. You are there's those words again. This awesome one who is love. You are his, her. I know God is bigger than that. You are God's beautiful beloved, and he knows you. Wherever you are, whatever place you are in your life, whatever place you are in the world, whatever family you were born into, he knows you, and you are seeking for oneness with our source. And this beautiful one told me, I will go in through the back door like a person goes through the back door of a computer. I will get past all the religious rigmarole and the wounds and the hurts that have come from mostly well-meaning people, but some of them just downright mean, who say they are religious and they have hurt people. He said, I will go through the back door and I will get to that one, that beloved one that I love, and I will speak to their heart myself. I will answer their questions and their longings of their heart. So whatever I'm talking about here, we're having a divine meeting with the one who is bigger than all of us, and yet we are a part of. So back to Brother Littlefield. He looked at me and he said, Margarita, look around you, dear, and see people's needs. He said it again. Look at people, dear, and see their needs. Oh, Chipper is carrying on downstairs. Look and see their needs, and then do whatever it takes to meet those needs, no matter how simple or how difficult. God will help you do it. And he said it again. Look around you, dear, and see people's needs and do whatever it takes to meet those needs. He said it won't be easy. And he looked off, remembering 87 years of his life and all he had done. He said it won't be easy, but you'll do it because you're meant, you're called to do it. Then he laid hands on me, put his hands on my head. And let me tell you, if you ever wanted to feel incredible frequency, incredible power run through somebody's hands, it was him. Millard Edward Littlefield from New England was so filled with the love of God, with unconditional love, that people were healed just sitting in his presence. And he laid those hands on me, and he spoke to his heavenly parent, and he said, and these were his terms and words, so don't be offended by them, please. Don't let yourself be offended. Hear what I'm really saying. He said, Heavenly Father, you know what Marguerite and I are talking about, that we're trying so hard not to say, meaning his leaving. He said, and I know it's not going to be easy for her to do the things that she will be needing to do. But I ask you, just like you have done for me, that you will give her everything she needs to help others. Everything she needs to carry out this beautiful task. And he said, if there's something that she faces in the days to come that I have never faced, I ask you to provide for her and give to her what I never needed or ever had, that she will be able to carry out whatever comes before her with everything that she needs. And then we remembered the first time we met, which was a supernatural meeting. And I do mean supernatural. I'll tell you more about it sometime. He talked about things that were amazing. He said, he quoted himself from years before in a moment that had been so incredible, so heartfelt. He said, Marguerite, you think like I think. You see things like I see them. In a given circumstance, you would do the same thing that I would do. He said, your heart is like mine. And I was thinking, oh my God, how can that be? how could this 20-something-year-old, or at that point early 30s, have that in me? But he saw what was going to be someday through divine source moving in my life. And I have seen amazing things. I've seen miracles. I mean, unbelievable. Not me, much bigger than me. And he said, Marguerite, you are so much like me. And he laughed. He said, you even walk like me. He took really fast, long strides. And I did at that time too. I don't think I do so much anymore. And he said, it's like you are me. It was uncanny. It was a mystical moment. This man, I met people from around the world. He was talking with, they hadn't seen in years, and I walked into the room and I knew who they were. I knew their name. How could I know that? That's how connected we were. And it was a great sadness to me for him to leave this earth, believe me, because he was my whole family. I come from a very abusive background, and to say I was unimportant to my family would be very, very mild. And when I was in my late 20s, I was sent to meet this man, Brother Littlefield. And I learned up close and personal what it was like to have a father. To have someone, he was very masculine, effortlessly so, but he was also very much motherly. He cared about everything and everybody. And his heart was so gentle. He was so made of love. He was like a rock that had tumbled down a mountain stream for so long that all the rough edges were buffed off of him. He was smooth and polished and filled with refinement and beauty. I was honored to know him, and I learned a lot from him. And I want to share some of those things with you tonight. Are you all ready? I know a lot of people will see this in the replay because it is very early in the morning. And I have seen your comments. I have seen how you're suffering. And I've cried over you. I have prayed for you. I have asked what to do. And when I was overwhelmed last evening, I knew that I was to just lie down and go to sleep. And I received a bunch of downloads and a lot of help to help me help you all and to deal with the empathic overflow coming from what you all are going through. I am not suffering to the degree that many of you are. And I can tell you how you can work towards getting to where it doesn't hit you so hard. I want to hand you as many practical tools as I can. And I want to speak comfort to your hearts. Because we are living in extraordinary, unprecedented times. Many of you are empathic. Let's address that first. There is a mystery here. If you're empathic, basically, in a nutshell, that means that you can sense and feel what the people around you are feeling. Whether that's anger, or fear, or despair, or sadness, or anxiety, whatever. And depending on how strong an empath you are, you may be able to feel what people are feeling in the whole world at times. And that can be overwhelming. One of the greatest things I learned as an empath is the difference between my feelings and other people's feelings. Do you hear what I'm saying? Sometimes I have to stop and I'll say, wait, is this mine? Am I really feeling this? And I'm like, no, this is not mine. I'm not anxious. I'm not feeling dread. There's no reason for that. And I stop and I say, this is someone else's. This belongs to someone else. This is an empathic thing that is happening right now. To be able to separate between what you are feeling, hey Jenny, and what belongs to others is very powerful and very helpful. The other thing of it is, why are we empathic? What purpose is there to that? Well, for one thing, in the huge scheme of things, it helps us understand that we're all one. If you're empathic, you have compassion and feelings of understanding for other people because you feel so much. You're aware of other people's suffering and experience. And there are many people out there who do not feel other people's suffering. There are people out there who are psychopaths. They have no feeling for others. They can't relate to anyone else's emotions or feelings or experience or suffering. And there are some people who are just so overwhelmed, they're numb. And then there are those of us who are empathic, who feel others' feelings. We have the perfect setup to understand the oneness that is between all beings. Not just human beings, but all beings on the earth. I'm not going to claim everything else. Good heavens, that's more than enough. There's been a little raccoon that was caught in someone's trap. And he has been coming to my home because he grew up here. His mother brought him here to eat my outdoor cat's food when he was a baby. And his sibling has been coming with him, but he was really hurt and in real trouble. He had a chain and a trap hung on him at his paw and he couldn't get it off. Do you know that's been hurting me? I have done everything I could think of, but you know, if a raccoon scratches you and someone finds out, they will kill that raccoon because they'll be afraid of rabies, because raccoons, a lot of raccoons, not a lot, but if there's going to be rabies, it's frequent, more frequent in raccoons than many other animals. I knew I couldn't try to get him free from the trap because he was a wild animal and he might scratch me and then he would be in trouble. So I have been searching and I found someone who is a rehabber of wildlife and all this is going on, but I saw him the other night. He was keeping me up at night. He was running across the wooden decks of my house, which I have many, dragging that horrible cast iron trap. It sounded like a nightmare, a horror movie. And I and the cats could not sleep through it. So I've been a little deficit with sleep and have slept when I could. But the main thing was the suffering that little animal was going through, and I felt it so deeply. I saw him a couple of days ago, and he has gotten free of the trap, and he is hurt, but he's so much better, and I can see he's healthy in every area but that front paw. I will probably catch him in a live trap, a cage with some food, and I will take him, and he will be worked with by a vet who works with wild animals. And if he can survive in the wild, they'll bring him back to his family and his territory. Otherwise, he will become a house pet, probably. But I care, and I know you all do too. That's the kind of tribe we have. we have this love and this caring in us, not to make us nervous wrecks, but so that we can make a difference. And so that we can we have the impetus, we have the motivation to help others. But you must separate what is your feeling and what belongs to everybody else. I have a lot of trouble going into hospitals. I go into them very rarely. Why? Because it's like putting me in the center of a room and everyone shooting ping pong balls at me from machines, and I'm getting hit from every direction. I feel the illness, the disease. I hear the thoughts when I walk through the halls. I feel the family that's upset. It's all banging into me. And I walk in with my shields up, but I still cannot get away from it. This is the life of an empath, isn't it? So to separate yourself from it and be able to let go of it and cast your cares over on the one who loves all of us and release it is really something we need to learn to do. That's one thing. Okay. Or else you'll feel useless. You'll be so overwhelmed you can hardly function. Many of you are overwhelmed right now. Ask. This is a big point. Ask for help. Chipper, did you hear him? Hello, Chip. It's the tribe. You're right. It's them. Chipper, my cat. Uh-oh. I lost my train of thought. Chipper, you knocked my train of thought off, boy. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Where was I? Ah, my goodness. There's a place, well, we'll just go from here. Maybe it'll come back to me. There's a place of balance in all of this. And in that place, there's power. Hey, Barb, what are you doing up? Canadian person, good friend of mine, long time, who knew Brother Littlefield very well. I was just talking about Brother Littlefield, Barb. So, how do you function in a world where you're feeling everybody's feelings? Well, you divide off what is yours and what is theirs. What is yours and what is theirs. And you learn to cast it off when you can't do anything about it. Learn to ask. That's it. Oh, thank you. Learn to ask. You have not because you ask not. That's a famous scripture quote. I heard Greg Braden and John from the Arlington Institute talking one day, and they talked about this, and I was impressed and amazed, and they took it to a different limit and level. They said, if you're overwhelmed with everything happening in this world, realize that there are benevolent beings, angelic, divine, God, however you want to look at it, that are standing by, waiting for you to ask them to help. You know how in Star Trek there's that thing called well, hold on a minute. I wrote it down. Prime Directive. That's it, the Prime Directive. In other words, they go into a new society that's not nearly as advanced as they are technologically, etc. And they will not interfere because it would mess up the flow of those people and their progress. Well, there's a divine directive too. And we got to ask. We've got to ask. We've got to say, help. Help. I need help beyond what I have right now. I need divine intervention. I need help. I need wisdom. I need knowledge. I need provision. I need friends. I need love. Ask, ask, ask. That you can be answered. There are beings. The cats are having a wild playtime. It's like living with elves. Someone quoted me on that the other day in the comments. I thought that was so funny. We have beings with incredible divine power all around us. There are some very good ones nearby, and all you need to do is say, help. Ask to have intervention. Ask for God to intervene. Ask for angelic intervention, a blessing. Ask for knowledge and wisdom, understanding, strength. I ask for that a lot. And you know what? It will come. It will come. So, let's talk about the purpose of these energies, okay? I see that many people in the comments are wishing this was all over, would go away, was never started, never happened, they want nothing to do with it, they hate it, they are fed up to here. And I understand that. But you know what? Just because you shout at the wall isn't going to change anything. It's still there, isn't it? To get mad, upset, and rage, and be upset and frustrated and bummed out is not going to help you or anybody else. Not unless it helps you to vent. And if that's what you need to do on the page, then you do it. And don't feel any kickback from me. Just knowing you're not alone is a huge thing. And we are not alone. We are going through this, all of us together, and we have found each other. And that in itself is an amazing thing. But let's talk about why this is happening. I want to talk about the very basic practical side of it without going into the esoteric, deep philosophical meaning too much at this point. But in a nutshell, the reason it's happening in the metaphysical, esoteric sort of way, spiritual way, is it's time for the prison planet to be liberated. We are the prison planet. We are the ones that had been taken over long ago. Sugar's down there playing with a loud toy. Chipper rushed down there to find out what she's doing. We were taken over a long time ago, and it's called the fall. It's called many things in different belief systems, but it's documented everywhere. Who was it? Devils, reptilians, Satan, whatever you call it. It was something bigger and stronger than us that deceived us, and it caused us to give up our rights and our authority here, and we cast away our oneness with God, our oneness with our Creator. And when that happened, according to Genesis, it says that we became aware that we were naked. In other words, the amazing glow that surrounded us disappeared. And we forgot who we were, and we thought God, Creator, was mad at us. That was a lie. You know why I know that? Because this Creator, documented in Genesis, would come in the cool of the day and visit with Adam and Eve, the first human beings. Just visit and hang out with them. Delight with them. And they delighted in this one. And after the big fall, when they listened to the snake, the reptile, or whatever you want to call it, and believed what it said, which was, God doesn't really love you because he doesn't want you to eat from this tree. And if you do, you'll be like him. He's actually a selfish, good-for-nothing, untrustworthy being. You need to go ahead and eat this so you can know everything, and you'll be like God, and you can't trust him. Well, they believed it, and they ate it, and all of a sudden they were filled with guilt and fear because they really bought into that whole thing, that God could not be trusted and didn't love them. Well, the amazing thing is, even though God was supposed to be furious with these foolish first humans, let's be honest, they were duped by something ancient that knew so much more than them. No condemnation here. But this same Creator, God, came walking in the garden at the cool of the day. to visit with them and fellowship and spend time just like he did every day, even after they had done what they had done. How odd. It doesn't appear that this Creator God was angry at all. But when he saw what had happened to them, that they were fearful and afraid, they hid from him. He knew, or God knew, I should say, that he couldn't let them live forever like that. And he began to plan, God began to plan how to set us free from the lie. Well, guess what, people? It's time to get free from the lie, to get free from the prison planet, to get free from these things that feed off of us. It's time to get free. So in a nutshell, there it is. So Creator, Source, divine beings are sending an incredible photonic light. It's increased to such a degree we can't even begin to measure it. And you're like, oh my God, no. This is our deliverance. This is the answer to bring us out of fear and oppression and this prison existence where we have to fight tooth and claw to just exist here. This is actually very, very good news. Now, photonic light is what it takes to activate DNA. Scientifically speaking, photonic energy, which is intense light, is what activates and changes, triggers upgrades in DNA. That is what's coming into us like crazy. It's coming from the sun. It's coming from central sun, as they call it. It's coming from places they don't even know. It's causing the Schumann resonance to spike like crazy. It's causing the shields to just flutter like butterfly wings and the energy to come through to us. Well, you know, who's to say that those shields, those bow shocks or bow shocks, are not keeping back from us what we need to remember who we are? Who says that the Kali Yuga, this ancient cycle, that we were going through this dark spot in space where we were not able to receive the kind of light needed to know who we are, is not being corrected right now? Just put that in your pipe and smoke it, ponder it. Okay, it's an old saying. So, according to many people, they believe that when we were deceived way back so long ago, the thing that happened was we forgot who we were. Well, there is certain DNA apparently. We were made in the image and likeness of our Creator God. This, according to certain people, tells us that we are different than every other creation in the universe because of this DNA, that somehow we are made in the likeness and the image of God. How about that? Well, apparently that's what part of our DNA was targeted by this enemy and supposedly stolen or deactivated. You know, we have a lot of what they call junk DNA. Matter of fact, most of our DNA particulate is junk. And a lot of people think that's what it is. That's the leftovers from it, perhaps. Well, when we do the heart-brain coherence meditation, a lot of that junk DNA does amazing stuff. And we have what you call superpowers. That's a quick pathway, okay? Don't forget that. When we do it, it's powerful. We'll do it at the end of this. So why is this energy coming in? It's coming in to help us upgrade, so to speak. It's coming in to wake us up, to bring light to our minds and our hearts, our spirits, our bodies, and remind us of who we are. It is to actually restore to us what has been stolen. The part of us that can do what we call miracles is in that part of the DNA. the part of it that where we can heal ourselves, that's part of that DNA. And some of us have already gotten access to this stuff. Nope, we're not going there right now. I'm not going to go into sharing about all that. So when this energy, this incredible, powerful, high-frequency energy comes in to us and it hits a blockage, guess what happens? You experience something that we call purging or resistance or the stirring up of old memories, old feelings, old symptoms, old everything. Imagine this. Maybe I should draw a little terrible illustration. I can draw, but you won't ever see it when we're on here. Let's say this is a meridian running through your body, okay? We have multiple meridians that are power tracks, power highways, energy highways through the body. And let's say this part right here correlates to your kidneys. All right, let's say you had a really bad experience when you were 22 or 12. Horrible, horrible experience. I mean, upsetting, wounding, emotionally damaging. Well, your kidneys in many cultures are the seat of your emotions. So is the heart, etc. All of a sudden, this unresolved stuff gets stuck on your meridians, your power lines, your organs in your body. And it's heavy, and it's sticky, and it's dark, and it doesn't want to move. And it's blocking the energy flow through your body, and through your soul, and through your spirit, through your whole being. Well, in comes this incredible photonic energy light, and it shoots in, maybe through your crown chakra, and it comes running through, and bam, it hits this heavy, sticky, icky blockage of unresolved stuff from some kind of wound or emotion or experience or illness. It hits it, well, what happens? It may not want to move to begin with. All of a sudden, all the metaphysical stuff connected to that energy, this issue with the kidneys that you may not even know you have, you're remembering stuff that happened from when you were 12 or in your 20s, whenever this occurred. You have feelings that are like nebulous floating around that mean nothing. You don't know where they came from. But it got hit by this amazing photonic power, energy, light, and you have a reaction. How about that? Well, that's the first whack. Let's say more light comes through and hits it. Well, this time it rattles it loose a bit. And now you're feeling a little anxiety. You're thinking, oh my God, what's happened to me? Why am I feeling these things? Am I losing my mind? You know, am I sick? What are these physical symptoms? What's happening to me? Why am I having all these dark thoughts? Yeah, does it sound familiar? And we're like, we don't know what to do. Well, of course we don't. There's no condemnation in this. We've never been here before. Okay? Then another amazing blast, boom, of photonic energy hits it, and it's dislodged, and it begins to flow downward. It gets broken loose, and now this ick is moving and flowing down through your energetic body. The goal is to get it out of your feet, so to speak, out of the body, whatever direction, out through here. But while it's in process, you have a lot of crazy symptoms sometimes. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get good at releasing this stuff. You shake off that depression and fear and that, oh my God, my life is ending, everything's over, And then sometimes there are beings attached to these globs of stuff. Oh, don't be scared. They're everywhere. Let's say there's a spirit of infirmity and a spirit of fear attached to it, okay? And maybe sadness hooked in. Okay, well, why is it there? It's because this is its kind of territory. It can respond and live here. You know, the Master Jesus said, the enemy, the prince of darkness of this world has come, and he finds no place in me. You hear the principle? If there's nothing in us that resonates with fear or anxiety or sadness, it can't hook in. It can't get stuck. Now, it may come, but it can flow through you, and you can let go of it and just release it. Don't become fascinated with it. Don't become terrified of it. Don't focus on it and believe that's who you are. David Wilcock has been teaching that the law of one, which is a revelatory type writing, says that when an enemy, I'll turn this back on. Wow, I've been talking a little bit now. Let's do it for another time. He says that one of the ways they describe when demonic beings or devilish things or dark energies or whatever come and try to mess with you, they call it, what was that? It means a negative greeting. Negative greeting. And this is the way I would describe it. This is what I heard teachers from my past say. It's like your heart has a door on it. We talked about that. All of a sudden, something's knocking on it. You open the door and you look and you say, yes. And it says, I'm depression and despair. And this is who you are right now. You are depressed and filled with despair. Think of all the horrible things happening in the world. Think about what that person said to you. And all this starts working. That's your negative greeting. That's your visitation from a dark energy, a dark thing. It's knocking at the door. Are you going to let it in? You hear what it is. Are you going to accept it? Are you going to say, it's like the old Saturday Night Live land shark. You know, you going to let it in? You're going to just let it come in? No. You're going to say, no, I'm not depressed. I'm filled with hope and possibilities. And you say, I'm not sad. I have joy and hope and possibilities in my life. I go through difficult times, but I come through them. And though I'm not afraid, I know that greater is the power in me than that is out there in the world. This is who I am. You don't align with me. Your frequency is not in sync with who I am. Go away. Bye-bye now. Close the door and move on with your life. Who are you? That's what you need to ask yourself right now. And when you meditate, when you sit down and purposely focus, see yourself and feel yourself and visualize yourself as who you want to be. Do you want to be fearful? Do you want to be anxious? Do you want to be sad? Do you want to be depressed? No, nobody wants that. So see yourself as bold and filled with calm confidence. See yourself as filled with love, not fear. See yourself filled with joy and hope, not depression or despair. And let this become who you are. When things come knocking, you say, no, thank you. Not my bag. Not what I'm into, not what I want. But you realize they're going to come. And it's nothing to get upset about. Just don't accept the package that they bring, okay? And when these amazing photonic energies come in, which is part of our freedom, it's like a jailbreak is going on. Those who can align themselves with these higher frequencies and energies, we're getting free. We're getting freed from this lying, deceiving, losing system. You know, it isn't who I am. And you are what you think. What are you thinking about? If you feel bummed out, upset, depressed, and fearful, ask yourself, what have I been thinking about? You know, I don't watch horror movies. You know why? I don't want anything to fear. I live alone, out in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to be imagining terrible, fearful things and welcoming that kind of garbage, that kind of negative greeting into my life. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want that. I made choices. That's not who I am. I cannot afford that. Why would I want it anyway? I don't find joy or entertainment in being scared. I choose not to be. And I am very bold and very fearless. And those who know me know that. More elf activity from the kittens back there. So, when you feel this stuff, the photonic light is coming in. It's hitting these blockages, these sticky, dark energies attached to different areas and parts of your being, to organs, to energetic pathways, etc. And you all of a sudden remember things. You have thoughts. You have phrases come in. You see images. You have feelings. You have all this stuff happening. You might even have some physical symptoms. It's just because that icky, dark thing is getting bumped by this amazing photonic light that's come and hit it to clear it out so that your pathways of life and energy and light can flow freely. So when you feel that stuff, say, oh, must be getting free of something. Take a deep breath, go, I let go of it. I release whatever it is. That isn't who I am. I'm glad to get free of that old dark, sticky energy. Let it go. Just let it go. Don't all of a sudden come into agreement and correlation with it. Don't all of a sudden match your frequency to it. Don't do that. That don't work. That's a good way for it to reinforce its hold and give you a really bad day. You don't want that. Realize you are being set free. You are being, well, you're involved in a jailbreak, and the jailbreak is for you and on the whole human race and all the animals and the creatures. That's what's going on right now, beloved. We are being set free. So when you feel these things, don't buy into it, okay? And I have to say this. How many out there, I'm wondering, I'm just asking, how many of you have seen Saturday Night Live from the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s? There was a character, the silly thing they had called Land Shark. Land Shark. It was back during the days of Jaws and so forth, you know, da-da, da-da, da-da. I never saw the movie, not into that kind of thing, but I got the gist of it. When this terrible Jaws shark, that was monstrous, was eating whole ships, evidently, when it would show up, they would play this horrible da-da, da-da, da-da. Well, on Saturday Night Live, they would have a woman washing dishes at home, you know, and all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. And she'd say, yes, who is it? Candy Graham. And and then at that moment, she heard come in on the radio, warning, land shark is coming to people's homes. Do not open the door. Do not allow the land shark to come in, or it will go bad for you. And she hears it. She says, oh my. And then she says, what? Who are you again? And it says, uh, a prize. I've got a prize for you. Open the door. Candy Graham. And it goes through all these ridiculous answers. And she hears one she likes and she opens the door. And then they show this stupid stuffed shark head that someone's holding. And it has its mouth open. And the woman basically has to help herself into its mouth because it was just so silly and so cheesy. That's sort of what we do. These negative greetings, these dark things come, and they knock on our door. And it's like, open the door. And we're like, no, who are you? And it says, I'm depression and fear. And you're like, oh. And it said, remember back when so-and-so happened to you? And it gives you this really bad memory. And you're like, yeah, I remember that. And it says, do you remember how that felt? And you're like, yeah, I remember how that felt. And it says, yeah, it was bad, wasn't it? You didn't deserve that, you poor thing. Now it's encouraging self-pity along with the depression, the sadness, and the fear. And you get into it. Land shark has come to the door and it's knocking, and you open it and let it in. Why? Because you believe that's who you are. You relate to that frequency. It's shown you something. And you're like, yeah, that is what I did. This was how it works with people in addictions. It shows them smoking that thing or drinking that thing or shooting that thing into their body or whatever they do with it. It shows it to them and it says, this is who you are. Remember what that felt like? This is you. Remember, that's how it gets in. So don't let it in. We really cannot afford it. I cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. We have places we're going. We have things to do, right? Here's the key. You have a choice. You have the power. The human will is one of the most powerful things on earth. You choosing not to cooperate with something, it cannot overtake you. If you refuse to cooperate, it can't. You don't even have to have great spiritual power. You can just refuse. Say, no, it's not who I am. It's not what I'm into. I will not do that. Not going to think that way. That was a long time ago. I'm not that person anymore. I don't feel that kind of stuff. I'm not depressed. I'm not fearful. I'm not filled with despair. Yes, I have some physical symptoms right now, but you know, they'll pass because I am going through a restoration and a healing. And that dark, sticky energy that's stuck somewhere causing that feeling of illness and symptom, it's going too. We are living in the days when everything is changing. It's no longer just sky's the limit. It's way past all that. That glass ceiling is being broken through. And we are being set free. Okay. So what can you do to help yourself? Well, we have a lot of tools available. Meditation. Now, meditation can be really hard when your mind is whirling and when you're anxious and you're filled with fear and you're uncomfortable in whatever way. And if our minds have been running wild for a long time, it's very hard to stop them and go into meditation. I'm not saying you shouldn't take the time to do it. What I am saying is if you do the heart-brain coherence meditation, which only takes 3 minutes and anyone can do. Any of us can hold our thoughts and our feelings in a place of gratitude and thankfulness, thinking of something in particular that we really are grateful for. Any of us can do that for 3 minutes. And that fabulous meditation will shift you physically. I should say it could. disclaimer, it could shift you physically. It can shift you emotionally. It can shift you mentally and what you're thinking about, what you're dealing with. It can change your entire paradigm in 3 minutes, no joke. If I'm having a really bad day, got crazy thoughts whirling through, had a lot of junk being hit by the energies in me, and I'm having repercussions and coming up from it, I will stop and do the heart brain coherence meditation by myself. Why? Because it will pull you right out of that place like nothing I know of can. It's effortless. It is amazing. And it's proven scientifically to shift your brain waves and your whole system if you just give it a chance. Okay, now, another thing, I want to just praise you all. I want to thank you. I want to say to you how proud I am of you all, my fellow Schumannites, the kindness that is expressed on our page. The love and the compassion is absolutely beautiful. I saw someone, talking about how bad they were feeling and what they were experiencing, and some others came in and said, yes, they were experiencing that too. And then one of them said, I really pray that you will get to feeling better really, really soon. Another one said, I'm sending you my heart and my love, and we're going to get through this together. And they began to encourage and love on each other inside that same part of the thread where they were sharing their symptoms. They took it where it needed to go. That was kindness. That was beautiful. That was speaking life to one another. I don't forget random acts of kindness that I have experienced. There's nothing that compares to it. As I mentioned before, I still remember from years ago, I was driving through Panera Bread, drive-through window, and the person in front of me, who I don't know who it was, paid for my meal. I got to the window and they said, that person in front paid for your food. You don't owe us anything. And I was just like, I can't describe what it did to me. I have experienced some amazing kindness in my life, and from some of you. Amazing kindness. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot describe what wealth and richness it put inside me that will never be taken from me. We have power to do that with one another. In these days we're living in that are very challenging, but these are the days that legends are made. This is the chance where we can become great. We can take a real high road and become something much greater than we ever would have been if we had not been challenged like we are now. I encourage you, love on one another even more in the thread. Even more. Reach out to each other even more. And in your physical life, where you actually have people who live close by or you see in person, gather together, whether it's just one or two or three. Make a deal between you all that you will not judge, you will not criticize one another ever. That you will only be there and love on each other and just accept one another. And go do things that are happy and fun. Go out to eat together. Go to an ice cream parlor together. Go to a park together. Go to one another's homes and enjoy hanging out with food and drinks, whatever. But choose not to enter into criticism and judgment. Don't ever put each other down. Don't ever get so angry because somebody's not doing what you want them to do, that you ruin a friendship. Create an oasis. A little piece of heaven here on earth. And oh, your life will be so much richer. Do that. Don't go to get something. Go to give and to love. And you naturally will find that you're receiving the love that you needed to. You cannot selfishly love anyone. You can't love to get something. That's all messed up. That's the world, the way it works. It's not unconditional, it's very conditional. And in that point, if people don't do what you want, you get mad at them, fed up, exasperated, and everything comes to pieces. But if you just choose to have a little piece of heaven where people come together and you just love each other and you're just kind and you do things that are fun and don't demand or criticize, that will be awesome. I really encourage you to consider doing that and to continue being so wonderful like you are in the thread. You know, we can't raise everyone up. We can't help somebody who's in quicksand at the moment and wants to stay there. We can't get them to come out. But we can be a part of them getting to the place where they want to get out. So whatever we do, let it be done with kindness. Be done with compassion. There's something called the SALT covenant, and basically it is, but for the grace of God, there go I. You know, we're all weak. We all have our issues. We all have our flaws. And so when we see something in someone else, they come to us and they say, I'm having this problem. Then you can easily find the compassion in your heart for them because you know you have your own stuff. And we all just need to be loved. Okay? Oh, there's so much more. I think I'm going to have to save some for another session. So I hope this has been useful to you all. I hope that I've handed you some truths and some tools that you will say, dang, I'm going to do that. I'm going to break free. I'm going to refuse to answer land shark. I'm going to refuse to let depression, defeat, despair, fear, and anxiety come in through the door of my life. I'm going to see myself as someone bigger, better, and filled with beautiful things, and therefore I can't even receive that. I hope you will grasp that, embrace it, and take it into yourself with joy. We are not helpless. We are not only victims. We can be what we want to be. Some of the greatest success stories came from really tough times, hard situations, and nobody handed it to them on a silver platter. And we love those people. Why? Because that's who we can be. That's who we can be. Thank you. Someone said a very valid message for today. Thank you, love soul. And I love you all too. These are tough times, but we can do this. Sometimes it's hard to leave prison. That's good. I love that, love soul. I love that image that you put up. It's hard to break out of prison sometimes. It's hard to leave an abusive relationship sometimes. But boy, the rewards, right? The whole planet is a part of this. So don't listen to the news. Don't listen to what everybody's saying. Don't even listen to Aunt Rebecca and Susie and Uncle Joe if they're talking defeated. Yuck. Love them, but don't let them use your ears as garbage pails. Inside, if you don't say it outside, say, no, not here. I'm not partaking of that. Move on and go higher. And like dear brother Littlefield, if you're feeling bummed out, go find somebody who's feeling worse and do something good for them. Casey says, I'm breaking out. You go for it, girl. The doors will begin to open for you. Yes, absolutely. Wow, 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 y'all. Let's do the heart brain coherence meditation together right now. This is so good. It's amazing. I cannot say thank you enough to Greg Braden, who is the one that I learned about this through, and it came through the heart brain coherence meditation, came through the Heart Math Institute, I should say. But you know, I've seen them do it, and I like the way we do it better. Let's do it, shall we? Now, just very briefly, quickly, touch your heart area with your hand. Bring your attention right here to the heart area. So we're going to bring our heart and our brain into coherence. And then your brain all of a sudden is going to have the same superpowers that your heart can have, because it can reach out into the quantum field, because that's its territory. But most of the time the heart is pushed down out of the way. Well, we're going to set it free right now. And now we're going to find that our brains get to excel and we become filled with superpowers. So think of something you're really, really thankful or grateful for. I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for our tribe where we know we're not alone. I'm grateful for my beautiful little kittens. I'm grateful for the day of my spiritual awakening. Maybe you're grateful for your family, your children, your home. I can already feel it happening. So you touch the heart area. Imagine breathing in and out from the heart, not just your nose and mouth. So go in. See the breath coming out, going in and out from the heart. Thinking and feeling whatever that is you're focusing on that you're grateful for. Let yourself feel it. Just give place to it. And let us begin. I'll let you know when the 3 minutes is up. Don't you worry about it. And let us begin now. Thinking and feeling something you're grateful for. Breathing in and out from the heart area. peace and love and bliss. I didn't want to quit. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for your beautiful spirits and souls and hearts. As I can feel you a lot of times when we're doing the heart-brain coherence. I can feel the oneness with you, the beauty that is there, and our connectedness to Source. Wow. And remember, you can do this anytime, anywhere. It just takes 3 minutes. I am in a zone, sort of a little intoxicated. Love bliss. I love ecstasy, beauty and life, love, beautiful things. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for the power and the life that you all have brought into this time and into our beautiful tribe. And remember, we're not going through all this for nothing. We're going someplace really good. 5D, or call it the kingdom of heaven, or the millennium, or new earth, or the new era. That's where we're going. Talk with you later. Much love.